Sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball on the banks of the Mississippi. We're at Busch Stadium tonight. It's game number 2 of the 3-game series. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Hayes is here. That's recording. I'm Dan McLaughlin. The Cardinals, if they pick up a win tonight, it would be their 10th consecutive series win. They've got the right guy going, Miles Mikolas.
We have loved watching him pitch all year, Dan. Why is Miles Mikolas so good? He throws strikes and he gets chases. Overall strike percentage, over 72%, the highest in the National League, and a lot of first pitch strikes. Then he gets the chases. He's able to expand the zone because he's ahead, and that slider is such a big out pitch for Mikolas.
To further your point, what you're breaking down here, the GMC leaderboard chase percentage, and he's among the tops in all of baseball. Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, both for the Mets, Patrick Corbin for Arizona, then the Cardinals, Miles Mikolas. Trevor Williams goes tonight for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Cardinals trying to make it 2 straight against the Pirates. It's baseball, and it's coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the in America Chevy dealer. Only at Jack in the Box for a limited time. Miles Michaelis going for St. Louis. The right-hander has been sensational since his first start of the year. Does it carry over to tonight? Baseball coming up. St. Louis, it's Game of Thrones night. That's some shots from the Budweiser Terrace. It's game number 2. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals, along with Rick Horton, Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Different temperature as opposed to what we had last night. 74 degrees at our first pitch here in St. Louis, which will be delivered by that man, Miles Michaelis.
Been so good. Last time out was a bit of an aberration for him. Gave up a lot of hits, but 13-3 record. And one thing that we haven't talked much about with Miles Michaelis, Dan, is the run support he gets. 6.1 runs per game. The Hyundai pitch arsenal, fastball, slider, curve, and change, and he uses all of them, mixing them extremely well.
Clint Hurdle's lineup. Starling Marte, Adam Frazier, Gregory Polanco, Francisco Cervelli batting cleanup, Corey Dickerson, Josh Bell, Colin Moran, Jordy Mercer, and the pitcher batting 9th, Trevor Williams. Jed Jerko has gone on the DL for St. Louis, so at third base tonight for the Cardinals, Jairo Munoz dealing with Wong out as well. Jim will have more on that. Greg Garcia at second base, so the Cardinals taking some hits in their lineup, but they're finding ways to win. St. Louis with a record of 74-58. Here's Starling Marte to lead things off. The Pirates struggling. They're now 4 games below the 500 mark. And the first pitch by Michaelis. Taken for a ball, and we're underway. Marte hitting .275, 17 home runs, driven in 58, and great speed. He loves to steal. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mike Shield has done an amazing job in getting the Cardinals in this position. There's a look at the wild card standings of the National League.
Still a fun race. It's still multiple teams have a chance of going on a run as the Cardinals have. And there are teams, Dan, still stockpiling players that might be the one missing piece for them, trying to find a veteran player to put in their lineup or a veteran pitcher. And Phillies are doing that. The Braves are doing that. It's going to be fun the next month.
Here's a 1-2. Softly hit left side. Cut off by Munoz. What a play by Jairo Munoz to his left. If it gets by him, that's a base hit with the speed of Marte.
Well, he's going to his left, and with this severe angle going to his left, he has to throw back to the right eventually because he's at the shortstop position. But you've got to get anything you can as a third baseman. You're taught if you can get it, there's a better chance of getting it out at first than leaving it to the shortstop. It's just a harder throw, longer throw. If that's DeYoung's ball, that's a base hit.
Well, the Cardinals have won 8 of 14 this year against the Pirates. Started off slowly and they picked it up. Adam Frazier hitting .277 with 7 home runs, and he's driven in 25. And he hits a liner into right, but that's off the glove of Jose Martinez. Gets by him on a ball that probably should have been caught. And Frazier winds up at second base.
Well, it's a sinking line drive, and wasn't sure, I think, at first whether the stay back or come in, and it almost looked like it took the glove off his hand. He reached out and it is off his hand. It's on his fingertips. That's odd.
So it's ruled a double for Frazier. And the batter is Gregory Polanco. It's a single and an E9 on that play. Polanco is driven in 73. And the first pitch taken up and in.
Mentioned the Cardinals winning 8 out of 14 against the Pirates. One of the reasons is they have contained, for the most part, Marte and Polanco. Each has 1 home run this year, but both players low batting average against the Cardinals. They've really pitched them well. Polanco, Dan, hitting just 140 against the Cardinals this year, and Marte, who has been a Cardinal crusher, is only hitting .224 against St. Louis.
That was the first error, by the way, from Martinez in the outfield. His errors all have been at first base. 1 ball and 1 strike on Gregory Polanco. Breaking ball taken high. Alan Porter is the home plate umpire. Mike Winters, the crew chief, he's at first. Jansen Visconti at second base. Tim Timmons down at third. The 2-1 pitch by Miles Michaelis. 2-2.
I have to ask Jose if that glove actually, for some reason, actually came off his hand. I would guess if he would have caught that ball, the ball would have been in his glove, but the glove would not have been on his hand.
Been on the ground.
It might have. It just maybe just slipped. Just an odd occurrence. I'll have to ask him about that. I'm sure he'd like to have one more shot at making that play.
Even the way that he's got the glove in the hand now, it's about midway down on the hand, and it's not all the way up. 2-2 the count on Polanco, who's limping back in the batter's box. Got his back foot on that foul ball. And the 2-2 pitch now coming up. Had him out in front. So initially ruled a double, then changed to a single E9, and now it's back to a double. Take away the air. Give it a few minutes and it'll change again.
And that is why someone decided to create whiteout for guys that score and pen.
Polanco hits it out to left, racing over for it. O'Neill near the sidewall and makes the catch. Not a lot of room once you get into foul territory down the left and right field lines. O'Neill in left, Boehner in center, and Martinez in right. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Munoz, DeYoung, Garcia, Carpenter on the infield. And as we predicted, Yadier Molina, despite that foul ball off his foot, he's back behind the plate. So Jed Jerko out on the DL. Munoz is going to get the bulk of a playing time probably at third base and second. Also with Wong out of the Cardinal lineup. Cervelli with an 8-game hitting streak coming into play. Batting .266, 11 home runs. He's driven in 49 and looks at strike one. Had some productive years with the Yankees, came over to Pittsburgh. Russell Martin went to Toronto. We thought that would be a major loss for the Pirates. A leader, very good catcher, but Cervelli's done a nice job.
Mentioned the Cardinals have handled Polanco and Marte, but not Cervelli.
It's a ball and a strike.
Early in the game, righty, left-hander on deck, hot hitter, 8-game hitting streak. Next hitter's 0 for his last 18. I don't think you walk Cervelli, but I certainly think that you pitch him carefully.
Here's a 1-1. Michaelis to Cervelli. Taken low. Pirates have lost 11 of their last 14. We talked about how the Cardinals have played so well now against Pittsburgh. Those wins piling up. And since Mike Schilt took over, Cardinals are nationally best 27-12. Only the A's have a better record across the majors in that span. Remarkable record of August 20-5, best in the major leagues. And with a win tonight, the Cardinals will have their first 21 win month, any month, not just August, since 2004.
Winning teams are fun, exciting teams are fun, but when winning teams are also playing a great brand of baseball, that's something really special. And I think that's what's going on here. This is not just a methodical home run fest. I mean, not that that's not exciting, but there's just a lot of positives going on the base paths, in strategy, with the pitching, with the bullpen, to make this team compelling to watch.
2-2 the count on Cervelli. Fouled back again.
That includes emotion of the players. I think we've seen more emotion, Dan, on the field and on the base paths. You know, you think of Harrison Bader and his yells after sliding into home, and Matt Carpenter after a double play cheering on, or Colton Wong making a terrific play but that Carpenter yells about. I mean, it's been emotionally a blast to watch this team play.
This will be the 7th pitch coming up to Cervelli, and a foul ball off his foot. Talk about it all the time. Sometimes you'll see in baseball, such a long year, teams get into a rut and they lose. And we mentioned the manner in which you lose. Sloppy, uninspired, no offense. Well, the same could be said on how you win. And there's no doubting the Cardinals under Mike Schilt are playing a different brand of baseball. They're starting runners. There's action. There's activity. Now the pitching, as you get a look at those guys, they've been doing their part, but it's been a fun brand of baseball. The 2-2. Line foul, and a nice play. We've had some good ones there. We've had some bad ones. That's a plus. Sign him up. He doesn't want to smile either. You notice that? I mean, this is routine for him.
He's trying to be humble about it, but you know, that's outstanding. He looked it into the glove, gave the ball away, and I wonder if that hurt at all.
Of course it did. He wants to shake his hand. Ow. And that pitch outside. 3-2. Tenth pitch coming of the at bat. The 3-2 pitch to Cervelli, and he walked him.
Careful with him.
Turn to Rick's Toyota key to the game.
Well, last time out for Miles Michaelis, he was pitching a mile high. That was in Denver, and Miles is back to a normal altitude now. I think, Dan, he was affected by that, and I think he wore out quicker, and that's not unusual in Denver. And he just seemed kind of just done in the 5th inning of the game. Now, he did give up 12 hits, but you know, it wouldn't be the first time that a pitcher did not have his best outing in Denver in that situation. And so I expect to bounce back, or I guess I would say that's the hope here as the key of the game, is that he does in fact bounce back and become once again the Miles that we've watched all season.
There's Corey Dickerson, runners at first and second, way outside. Cardinals, as you mentioned, they had that 7-0 lead, then quickly 7-5, and
Ooh.
Miles was just 1 out away in that 5th inning from qualifying for the win. But as Mike Shildt has gone about it, you could see he was on fumes, and it's about winning games and not really the personal accolades.
Well, he'd given up 12 hits by then. I don't think there was a choice. You had to get him. I think he was trying to get him through 5, but he just couldn't do it. I think that's actually kind of a misconception about Mike Shildt's managing. I don't think he's going to his bullpen earlier and taking starters out earlier and not worrying about them getting wins. I just think the bullpen's better, and we're coming back and winning games late where the starter wasn't very good. So just because you win the game and the starter was short doesn't mean the starter deserved to go any more than 4 innings.
1-2. So 2 outs and 2 on, a ball and 2 strikes. Corey Dickerson. Who's hitting .295. And a little bouncer hit up the middle, kept on the infield by Garcia. That saves a run more than likely. And Mike Maddox out to visit. 26 pitches in the inning and counting. That was only the 3rd walk in a first inning by Miles Michaelis all season long. There's a play by Greg Garcia.
Isn't it funny how an inning can get away from you quickly and you really haven't done a lot of things wrong? That's a ground ball, but it's well placed and well played by Greg Garcia. Otherwise, it's a base hit. Could have been worse. But honestly, that's a ground ball. Michaelis has had a ton of those hit at second baseman and shortstop that have been double plays. And you think about this inning, a play that could have been made in right field. Not that it was an easy play, but could have been made. Then you walk a guy situationally because there's a guy on second base that has hurt you, and then a ground ball that, and it looks like he's having a terrible inning. Well, you know, that's baseball, Dan. He had bases loaded, 2 outs because things just haven't gone his way.
Dickerson snaps an 0 for 18 and a dangerous man at the plate with good power in Josh Bell. Although this year only 8 home runs. And the first pitch taken just a bit low. Frazier with the double. Cervelli the walk. Dickerson the infield hit. Bell is 1 for 9 with the bases loaded this year. 1 ball and 1 strike. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Bell has not driven in a run since August 11th. That was at San Francisco, and he's batting right in the middle of this lineup. 6th place hitter. At 26 home runs a year ago. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. May have chased a ball. I know it's early, but don't you get the feeling that this is a huge at bat already in this game?
Oh, yeah.
Because Michaelis could get out of it, settle in, and all of a sudden he's in the 6th or the 7th.
Exactly. I feel like the crowd sensing just what you're thinking, Dan. Trying to spur him on.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Josh Bell. And a fly ball lifted out to left center. Bader with room makes the catch. And the Pirates strand the bases loaded. Big deep breath there for Michaelis. Cardinals coming up against that man, Trevor Williams. Lineup tonight against Trevor Williams. It adds up to a .446 average. There are a lot of guys that have big numbers against the right-hander of the Pirates. We'll see if that plays out tonight. Matt Carpenter at the top, Yadier Molina, then Jose Martinez, Tyler O'Neill, Paul DeYoung, Greg Garcia, Harrison Bader, Jairo Munoz, and the pitcher Miles Michaelis.
So you balance the numbers that the Cardinals have against Trevor Williams with his numbers since the All-Star break. 10-9 overall, 3.44 ERA, but he has the second lowest ERA in all of baseball since the All-Star break. Only Corey Kluber with a lower earned run average. So this guy's hot. His August has been spectacular, really the best month of the season and maybe of the career for Trevor Williams. He's just got it working right now. So the balance of the Cardinals hitting him, but him pitching well, we'll see which wins out.
Allowed 1 run over 6 innings, took a no decision, 2-1 loss last time out against Atlanta. Carpenter 7 for 16 with 3 home runs against Trevor Williams. And the Hyundai pitch arsenal.
A lot of fastballs, 70%. That's a high number. 29% breaking balls, really just showing that curveball too in the midst of that.
1 ball and 1 strike. Jose Martinez 6 for 13. Greg Garcia 7 for 11. I mean, these are big numbers against Trevor Williams. Here's a 1-1.
I don't know if I've ever noticed the shoulder pads being such a good indication of where the top corners of the strike zone is as when I watch the jersey and the gear of Cervelli. It just kind of stands out to me. Now he's setting up on the inside corner there, but when he's setting up straight on the plate, those shoulder flaps, to me, those are pretty good targets for what the top part of the zone is. So many pitchers do pitch up to those areas, so you're taught to throw to the glove, Dan, but I wonder if the pitchers are throwing to the shoulders of Cervelli.
Here's a 2-2. Full count. And it's highlighted too for us.
Right, exactly. And maybe that's always the case and I've just noticed it, but to me it's standing out with Cervelli right now.
What can Carpenter do on a 3-2 pitch to start tonight? He'll take a walk. Around the Horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Dickerson, Marte, and Polanco in the outfield. Moran, Mercer, Frazier, Bell along the infield. Cervelli is behind the plate. In steps Yadier Molina. A .86 ERA for Williams his last 7 starts. That's how good he's been. The Pirates managed to lose 3 of those games, scoring a total of just 2 runs in the 3 defeats. So no run support, but he's pitched well. And ball 1-2, Yadier Molina.
High ERA, 7 starts against the Cardinals, almost 7. And against all other teams, 3.51. So he knows when the Cardinals are coming around and it's his turn, he's going to have to be sharp.
A ball and a strike.
Every pitcher has that team. You think, oh boy, can we get maybe a rain out? Can I get pushed back to the Mets instead of the Phillies or the?
Who was yours?
Well, there's a few. Cubs, I was not particularly good against the Cubs, as I recall.
Here's a 1-1. Fouled back and a good cut.
Been a long time though, Dan. The memory kind of fades away. You just kind of remember snippets of it and not really sure.
Well, you can shape it the way you want.
Well, that's, yeah, exactly.
You know, Williams does not strike out a lot of hitters. He's got 90 in 136 innings.
Doesn't have the plus fastball.
Yeah.
Has a good slider, good breaking ball.
The 1-2 that backs up for a ball.
Highest fastball usage in Major League Baseball, Bartolo Colon. That's not a surprise. Almost 80% Lance Lynn. We know that about him. But Trevor Williams is on this list. We've seen that from Trevor Lynn or Lance Lynn. We know what that looks like, Dan, on a weekly basis.
That's smoked into the gap in left center. Marte cuts it off. Carpenter on his way to third. Molina into second base with a double. Second and third, nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
I was curious how Yadi would run from home to second after being hit on the toe last night. Well, it didn't affect his swing, that's for sure. Lines it into the gap. Marte, very good outfielder. Carpenter knows he's only going to make it to third once it's cut off. But the question is, was there enough salsa in Yadier Molina to help him forget about his toe?
By the way, you have a bad memory. Your ERA against the Cubs, 2.31.
Really?
Yeah. Now against Montreal, it wasn't too good. I don't want to bring that up.
Let me say I was not fishing for that. I was not saying, Dan, please look.
No, you baited me. It's okay.
No, Montreal, I would not have guessed that. I shut them out once. I guess the other days were pretty bad.
ERA over 4.
Really?
But you know, this day and age, you can live with that.
Well, but you got to understand that there's a currency exchange difference.
the rate's
different. Yeah.
Jose Martinez, a first inning home run last night. Here's the 0-1. And here it was, Martinez with number 16.
Mark Budauskas said before the game he wants to see him drive the ball more. Well, I guess he got the message and danced his way home.
Cardinals a chance here to strike first. Michael has pitched out of a jam with the bases loaded, kept the Pirates off the board, and now the Cardinals with runners at second and third and nobody out.
Ooh.
1-2.
Ooh.
For Yadier Molina, that was his 12th double since the All-Star break, 5th most in baseball. Had a double last night, which put him past Red Schoendienst, the all-time Cardinals list, 7th place. 1-2 the count on Jose Martinez. It's a line foul and out of play. Hitting .325 with runners in scoring position, trying to add to that. Inside 2-2. Milwaukee and the Reds tied 2-2. That's in the 4th. Keep an eye on that. The Cubs did take game 1 of the doubleheader today at Wrigley. And in game 2,
they lost 10-3. Now that's a score we wanted to hear.
The 2-2 pitch to Martinez. Pulled foul. I think you can see, and you touched upon it, Ricky, that Williams, despite the fact he's got good stuff, it's not great stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got to have these types of situations. You would hope to have something, one pitch that could put the hitter away.
Yeah, the put away pitch, and Martinez looks comfortable at the plate. Doesn't mean he's not going to get him, but you can see why Jose, like many of the Cardinals, he's 6 for 13 against Trevor Williams. It's a good at bat going.
The 2-2 pitch. Got him. Struck him out. And it brings in Tyler O'Neill. 7 pitch at bat with Martinez and the strikeout. Tyler O'Neill has been on a tear, 6 for 19 with 4 home runs in his last 5. 7 runs batted in.
Does this finish remind you at all of Mark McGwire?
A little bit.
I hadn't noticed it until that little montage.
It's popped up into shallow center. Marte can't find it. Over the shoulder catch, and Carpenter was halfway between third and home.
Boy, it's tough to know what to do there. If he thinks that ball may drop, he was trying to go halfway so he could score, but with Frazier going backwards, catching it over his shoulder, this would have been a tough play for him to turn and throw home. I'm not sure he would have made it from that short a distance. Frazier would have had his arm tested there, but Carpenter kind of caught in between a little bit, whether to tag up or to go halfway.
And it looked like Jose may have been saying halfway, halfway. So regardless, the Cardinals need a 2-out hit. And it's Paul DeYoung. 3 for 7 with a home run against Williams. Fouled back in a good cut. Was thinking we have not seen a patented yet Paul DeYoung stretch a game since he's come off the DL, where it's 7-10 days and a lot of doubles and home runs.
I thought about that on the last road trip, because we saw 2 or 3 of those stretches last year where he was as lights out as anybody, and he's been steady. Get a hit a game, 2 hits in every 3 games, you know, home run sprinkled in, but nothing where he's on that big RBI tear. And with Jerko out and Wong out and Ozuna out, it'd be nice for somebody whose last name isn't Carpenter to go on a tear.
1 ball and 1 strike on the Cardinals shortstop.
Not that Matt can't keep doing what he's doing.
Sure.
Going to need some help.
Hit down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. A little bit of a rut, 3 for his last 28. You can see he's been in between on the road trip. But to his credit, And we say this, and it's not cliche with him. He does not get 2 up and 2 down.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, he's really even keeled.
Very comfortable in his own skin.
Sticks to his process, understands what pitchers are trying to do. And the 1-2 pitch to Paul DeJong. Got him. So Williams, after allowing a walk, then a double, gets a strikeout, a pop out, and a strikeout.
Dan, Jed Jerko has had groin issues before. He said last night this one felt worse than the others. Jed said he felt something grab last night as he left the batter's box after doubling in the 8th. Jerko goes on the 10-day DL with what is officially listed as a left groin strain. He had an MRI this afternoon. GM Michael Gersh told me at this point we still think it's a relatively mild strain in that 10 to 14-day range. Dan, they expect the results of that MRI sometime tonight.
How about Michael Wacha?
Wacha came out of last night's rehab start for Springfield after just 2 1/3 innings after dealing with fatigue in his core. Wacha is coming back from a left oblique strain. Michael Gersh told me that Wacha met with trainers in St. Louis this morning. Gersh says Wacha felt the fatigue in his core and wasn't throwing the way he wanted to, so he just cut it off. Gersh said it wasn't something that happened on one pitch. It didn't feel right, and it felt less right as they went along. And Wacha was scheduled to meet with team doctors at some point today. So, Dan, at some point we'll get more information on Michael.
Colton Wong.
Colton Wong is on the 10-day DL with a hamstring issue. We talked to Colton today. He says he doesn't think it's anything more than 10 days. In the time being, he's going to do everything he can to stay sharp. He can't do baseball-related activities, Dan, but he said he's going to watch the starters take their bullpen and just track pitches to keep his eyes sharp.
Rick Horton.
Rick Horton is great, healthy, and ready to go.
Great job, Jimmy, as always.
Thank you, Danny.
That was concise report. That was well researched by you.
Put a lot of time into it.
You did, I can tell. And I am fine. Thanks for asking.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Colin Moran. A swing and a miss. Michaelis, his first strikeout of the night. Jimmy does a fabulous job for us.
Oh, he sure does.
Night in and night out.
We talked about chasing. That pitch is out of the zone. That makes it a chase, but it looks like a strike. It's a cutter, and now it's not a strike, but you can't, once you started the swing, stop.
Here's Jordy Mercer batting .262. And strike one. Adeiny Echeverria was at shortstop last night. Mercer had been dealing with a calf issue, and now he's off the DL. Very steady player. Cardinals have won 9 of Michaelis's last 10 starts. In those games, he personally 5-0. A swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. Arcia drive to success. Cardinals record against Central Division opponents. You have to play well within your division. And the Cardinals are now 10 games above the 500 mark inside the Central. 14 games remain against NL Central opponents. 5 against Pittsburgh, 3 with Cincinnati, 3 with Milwaukee, and the last 3 with Chicago.
So you play well against your division because you pitch well against your division. Miles Michaelis has been very good against the National League Central, 7-1 overall, including a 4-1 record here at Busch Stadium. And you can add that to Jack Flaherty's 1.88 ERA that he's had in 12 career starts within the division. And most of those, of course, have come this year. But Flaherty, Michaelis, your 1-2 guys beating divisional opponents. That's how you play well in the Central.
How good has Jack Flaherty been here?
A+.
He's had a great month of August. 1.13 ERA in August for Flaherty. Curveball and a beauty.
So just a little bit above Bob Gibson for an entire season.
Puts it in perspective. 50 years ago, the great Bob Gibson strikes out the side here in inning number 2. Can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in and stream the Cardinals. We're at the bottom of the second and there's no score as the club continues this push towards the playoffs. Ratings on Fox Sports Midwest are the highest they have been all season long. It continues to climb, and the interest and the buzz around the city with this team after Mike Schilt took over, can feel it everywhere you go.
Came back after the last road trip, Dan. I had 5 errands to do the first day, and every place I stopped, not kidding, every place. Tell me about the Cardinals.
There's a fly ball off the bat of Garcia. Marte with room. Harrison Bader hitting .280 overall with 9 homers, and he's driven in 27. And who knows how many runs he's potentially saved this year. And the first pitch to Bader. Strike one.
I think it's interesting you say who knows. There is such a stat as runs saved, but that's not a one-to-one correspondence.
And that was my point.
To an actual run saved, although, so in my estimation, the worst named stat in all of baseball, because that's not what it is. It's not runs saved. But if you were to subjectively try to look at a game in every Cardinal game and add up what you guess he may have saved, it's a ton of runs.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
I saw Ozzie do that all the time.
And Whitey would say, Ozzie may drive in 50, he's going to save me 50.
Right, and that's just an eye test number.
Here's a 1-2. Tied him up. The strikeout of Bader. Third of the night for Williams. Union Appreciation Day at Busch Stadium this Sunday. Cardinals host the Reds. Purchase of a special theme ticket. Take home a unique Cardinals Union Proud t-shirt. Tickets start at just $20. Get yours now at cardinals.com/theme.
Can't we call it defensive efficiency rating? We can just start calling it that if you'd like.
Let me ask you this. Is there a better outfielder right now than Bader in terms of defense? I mean, he's in the conversation.
I think I can only honestly speak for the National League, because there's, you know, I don't see the American League play. You know, you hear about Kiermaier, other players that are just phenomenal defenders, but you know, Billy Hamilton's pretty good center fielder.
Mookie Betts.
But I'm just thinking National League, and you hear about Mookie Betts, and I just don't see him enough to know. But boy, Bader's definitely in the conversation. Absolutely.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Jairo Munoz. He's hitting .263 with 2 strikes. Been very good in that regard. League average is .171 with 2 strikes.
And you wonder why a pitcher wants to get to 2 strikes.
171 the average. And the 0-2. United Way kicking off their annual fundraising campaign. We'll talk to Dr. Mark Wrighton, Chancellor of Washington University, coming up. And a strikeout of Munoz, number 4 tonight for Williams. week, and Dr. Mark Wrighton, Chancellor of Washington University, is our guest, and he's helping kick off the annual fundraising campaign. And Doctor, first of all, welcome back to Busch Stadium, and it's always a great night here at the ballpark to be talking about the United Way.
Yes, it is. It really is wonderful that the Cardinals will allow us to be here. We have a headline goal for this campaign of $76 million.
$76 million. So you got your work cut out for you.
We do. Today is day one. We kicked off our campaign at Washington University this morning, and we're already doing pretty well. We have a fairly big goal for the university, but for the community, this is extremely important.
The United Way, for fans that don't know what it is, what they do. Tell us all about it.
Sure. The United Way is an organization that attracts financial support for a large number of social service organizations, over 160 such agencies bringing benefit to people all through our region. Over 1 million people will likely receive some support for one of these agencies in the coming year. That's about a third of the population here in St. Louis.
There's Starling Marte at the plate, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Marte grounded to third. For folks that would like to donate or get involved, volunteer, whatever the case may be, where do they go?
Well, many of the employers in this region are launching United Way campaigns. If you're not involved in such an organization, you can go directly to the United Way on their internet site and make a contribution.
And as you talked about, the need is significant in terms of what the United Way can deliver to so many people in our region.
Yes, our region is prospering in many ways. We have a great deal of momentum. We have high employment, but there are some who do not have jobs. Crises come up in all families. Agencies of the United Way are there to help people when they are in need. And our community has great need. 80% or more of the agencies that are receiving support are seeing more demand for their services.
How did you get involved?
I've been a United Way donor ever since I had my first position in 1972 at MIT. I've been increasing my gift to the United Way every year. And I'm now involved with Jeff Fox as co-chair of this United Way campaign here in St. Louis. The response from this community has always been very positive, and we hope to raise just a little more than last year.
Good
this time, $76 million.
And what's the time frame in trying to get that all done?
We hope to have it done by November 1st.
Wow, so that's going to happen quickly.
Yes.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Adam Frazier. And I'm assuming the corporate community steps up in a big way when you have the ask and they're ready to say, you bet, what can we do to help?
The corporate community of St. Louis has been terrific. Many corporate leaders have been United Way campaign chairs and co-chairs. Jeff Fox is the CEO of Harbor Group, and he's been just terrific in helping us build support. I've visited many corporate CEOs this summer, and Jeff has joined me on some. He's done some independently, and we've received an excellent response.
What's great about the United Way is that all the money raised by the St. Louis community during the campaign stays right here, and it goes to a 16-county region throughout Missouri.
Yes, our campaign supports a very large area and a very large population. I myself and Jeff Fox have visited some of the agencies that are receiving support, some in Illinois, some here on this side of the river in Missouri. And we're serving people from, just small children to older citizens in our community. The need is very significant, and many people are going to need some support at some point in their life.
On the 3-2, a strikeout of Frazier after the ground out by Starling Marte. There's 2 outs, and it brings in Gregory Polanco. Dr. Mark Wrighton, Chancellor of Washington University, our guest. Helpingpeople.org to get involved. Helpingpeople.org. Basic needs, education, financial stability, health, building strong communities, all part of the message and what you're trying to do.
Yes. One of the things that people probably would not really appreciate, I've come to learn that many households in our region do not have this financial means to support their housing, their health care, and even food. and we need to step forward and help those who are in need.
And this year's goal to raise $76 million for the community. Helpingpeople.org. The base hit by Polanco, and it brings in Francisco Cervelli. And the Cardinals have been behind this from the onset, correct?
The Cardinals have been terrific in every way, and it's exciting to see the team really flourishing just now. I'm excited to be here and hope that we continue to enjoy great success through the season and in the playoffs.
Cervelli walked his first time up, 2 outs and a runner at first. And there's ball 1. Individuals, and you talked about corporate support, but do you get a lot of individuals that step up, whether donating time or money?
Yes, that's an important part of the United Way effort. The more than 160 agencies are all needing people who are going to help out on the ground. So volunteer opportunities are very, very important, and this gives people an opportunity to understand the problems that we face in this community, and the agencies will provide great opportunity to serve the community. And that engagement, that personal engagement, is an important part of what we need to be doing and encouraging in our community.
Here's a 1-1 tap foul, now 1 and 2. I find it amazing, and you touched upon it, but 1 out of 3 people will be asking, or at least the United Way reaching out to them to try to help them. 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3. That surprises many people, but if you just think about what goes on in everyday life, you know, an acute illness, a crisis arise, a breadwinner loses a job, a child faces a huge challenge. There are many issues that arise where people need the support from one of these agencies of the United Way.
Helpingpeople.org. Corporate support, individual support, it's needed. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Francisco Cervelli. And that is going to be tap foul. And I mentioned the 16 county region throughout Missouri and also Illinois. So make sure our fans understand that as well. Both states.
Right. It's a region-wide effort. And one of the things that has really impressed me as I've learned more about it through this volunteer role that I've taken on, the United Way professionals represent a great team. They're really outstanding. They're working very hard on behalf of the community. And as an organization, they are very generous to support the United Way. They have 100% participation.
One ball and 2 strikes. Miles Michaelis looking for strikeout number 5 or out number 3 here at the top of the 3rd. And he gets the strikeout of Cervelli.
It's a great inning.
Doctor,
Good to
thank
see.
you. Good luck with everything. Awesome stuff.
Thank you very much.
Helpingpeople.org. $4.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer. Thank you to Dr. Mark Wrighton, Chancellor of Washington University, and the United Way program. There's no score in the bottom of the third. Recording back with us, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes as well. And here is Miles Michaelis, who's got a couple of home runs this year.
And this one, Dan, was a big fly. Right center field, 400 feet plus. Came out of nowhere. Might have worn him out.
Could have. Nothing into the count. And the 1-2 pitch to Michaelis. Got him. That's strikeout number 5. You know, both teams let each other's starters off the hook.
Yes.
And both happening in that first inning. Cardinals had runners at second and third, nobody out, could not score. The Pirates had the bases loaded. They did not score, and now both starters have gotten locked in.
They've settled down, and I think I've figured out what has been working for Trevor Williams. Just watching him pitch, he has a slider. I mentioned that earlier, that was good and sharp, but his fastball has a little cut action to it, and I'm not even sure if you'd call it a classic cutter or if it sails. Now that one was a bit of a down and away changeup, and we haven't seen much of that. But the strikeout of Martinez is the first one I saw that had some run to it, Dan, and I think players are having a hard time squaring it up right now. It's just a different look. I would say halfway between a four-seam fastball and a cutter. And I think it's an interesting compliment to his slider, and I think he disguises them, and I'm not sure they know what they're swinging at yet.
The 3-0. Carpenter walked his first time up. And he walked him. Kubota Power Stats, the Cardinals' highest slugging percentage in the second half since 1933. And the Cardinals right behind the 0-4 group, which was magnificent, especially when they added Larry Walker. Kubota Power Stats.
I have some numbers you may be interested in, Dan, but you're going to have to ask me nicely.
What type of numbers?
Oh, that was great. I just wanted to make sure you were really interested before I threw them at you. It has to do with batting first or third in the lineup, which has been a conversation we've had for many years about Matt Carpenter, and I don't know that these numbers would say that anything should change the way it is right now, and Matt certainly flourishes in that first spot, but you need somebody to flourish in the third spot as well to be a winning team. Here's why. The leadoff batter. Why hit Matt Carpenter first instead of third? Because over the course of a year across Major League Baseball player, the leadoff batter hits 5% more often. 5% more times over the course of a season. But the third place hitter is important because even with that, the third place hitter will have 5% more runners in scoring position opportunities. So why do you want a guy hitting third? Because he's got to drive him in. Why do you want a guy hitting first? Because he's got to get on. Carpenter can do both. But they won't let him hit both first and third in the same day, so you've got to make the choice.
I'm keeping Carpenter at the top.
Right. And why? Because he's going to bat 5% more often over the course of a season. And he's an on-base percentage guy. But your third position guy better be a guy that drives in runs. Aren't you glad you asked?
There's a grounder tapped foul. You bet I am. I think at this point, and everything you said makes sense, and you can understand why some would say we got to drop down Carpenter in the lineup, but
I'm not saying it for that reason. I'm just saying it for why those two positions in the lineup are so critical because of the value they bring.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. And now time is called.
Whoops. Pitchers do not like that.
And the 1-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. 2-2.
One of the things that has made the Cardinal team so exciting lately, Dan, is they run, but Cervelli is throwing out 45% of those trying to steal against him. So you better be careful. You better be sure about it. You better be sure about contact with the guy at the plate if it's a hit and run.
And a ground ball did not start the runner, and a double play. So the strikeout of Michaelis, walk of Carpenter, double play off the bat of Molina. We head to inning number 4.
Dan, you know this. Mike Shildt is legitimately as humble as anyone you can find. He's not a me guy, as Tony La Russa used to put it. Good example today. Shildt was asked how he enjoyed the official welcome last night during the game when they put him on the scoreboard. Shildt said, "That was awkward. I appreciate it, but I'm not a limelight guy. I get to manage the team, but this really is a player's game, and it's not even close to being about me." Dan, to me, that's vintage Shildt.
I would agree.
Yeah, some people say it's not about me, and yet you get the sense when you're around him that it is. That you're maybe kind of a little faux when you say that, but there's no faux about this guy. This guy means business when he says it is a player's game. He is 100% genuine about that.
Just the way that he treats people with respect. Everybody.
Had a couple of interviews with him when he first took over the manager, and I said, well, let's talk about who you are, Mike, and let's get the fans to understand who you are. And he said, well, that's kind of boring, frankly. I'm not very social. I go out to eat and watch some TV, and that's about who I am.
We've actually gone over some of the TV shows that we watch on the road. That's about the extent of our entertainment conversations, and everything else is baseball.
Those are all just placeholders until it's time to do baseball again, right?
You got it. And it's all year for Mike. The 1-2 pitch put in play, handled by Munoz. Corey Dickerson, the first out here in the 4th inning. Purina is better together. Pet Adoption Day at the ballpark is tomorrow. Head to Ford Plaza prior to the game. Meet adoptable furry friends. The Belleville Area Humane Society. Tickets at Cardinals.com. There's Josh Bell, fly to center with the bases loaded, back in the 1st inning. And strike one.
For fans of pitching, watch Miles Mikolas use the corners of the plate. That last pitch right on that line with our box that shows you the strike zone. Yachty setting up on the inside box, and there it is.
Under the glove of Garcia, got a piece of it and into center.
Worried for a second that Garcia may have jammed something on this play as he hit hard. It came up kind of slowly. I'm not sure if you catch that ball, if you can throw him out. And there he is. He's actually holding his stomach. I wonder if we just knocked the air out of him.
And the batter is Colin Moran. Struck out back in the 2nd inning. Pitch count at 65 now for Mikolas. Hit down the left field line and out of play. Moran at 3rd base. David Freese on their bench. Josh Harrison, who did clear waivers, as well on their bench. And now Matt Carpenter has just left the game.
We've been watching Greg Garcia, who's still actually leaned over at the waist at 2nd base as if something's still wrong with him. Boy, what's going on here?
I think Carpenter may have gotten sick to his stomach. Here's a 1-1 pitch. So Big City's in there. The hits just keep on coming for the Cardinals. 1-2 the count on Colin Moran. And it's 2-2.
Well, the indication is that Matt just doesn't feel well, but we'll give a report on that as we go along. I don't think it's a serious thing for Matt, and Cardinals being tested a little bit in their depth, Dan, and of course they've been tested with their rotation depth, their bullpen depth, and they've come through with flying colors lately. But now the offense being tested a little bit.
Two and two the count. And a ground ball that's back to Michaelis. Out there. Double play with the tag applied by Adams. And Moran does a somersault as he went past the bag. And Trevor Williams pitching in a scoreless game. So Carpenter's out, Jerko out, Wong is out, Ozuna out. Jose Martinez, Tyler O'Neill, and Paul DeYoung. And a ground ball that's hit to short. One pitch, one out. We've got the Biz Dash coming back. The workplace wellness event of the year. Runners and walkers are welcome. It's the 27th of September at Soldiers Memorial. STLBizDash.com, brought to you by Fox Sports Midwest. Here's Tyler O'Neill. The official word from the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter was removed from the game feeling nauseous. And there's a portion of the area around first base that could prove it. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tyler O'Neill.
I'm sure it was not the salsa.
Wasn't going to go there.
No, so I went there for you. No, but you went to the first base bag area.
Well, we were told that maybe he wasn't feeling too well.
We'll leave it at that.
2-2 the count on Tyler O'Neill. And he struck him out. 6 tonight for Trevor Williams.
There's that sharp slider, and that too right on a corner, the way Michaelis does it. And you can see why Williams has the second lowest ERA since the All-Star break of any pitcher in baseball. He's showing that tonight.
And that's a base hit into left center for Paul DeJong, cut off by Marte. DeJong thinking 2 on his way to second and out. No, the ball gets away.
Frazier not happy with himself because he had the tag right on DeJong. That's the slider. And good work by DeJong going down to get it, lining it into that left center field gap. Marte again cutting a ball off. He has got 10 outfield assists already. Should have been 11. Throw right on the money. Tag was there, the ball wasn't.
So a chance now for Greg Garcia. Scoreless ball game here in the bottom of the 4th. Fly to center, first time up. One ball and one strike.
Mentioned the assist for Marte. This is a good throwing outfield from left to right for the Pirates. Dickerson has 8, Marte 10, Polanco 8 outfield assists. That's a ton for one outfield. They play shallow, expecting to be able to throw somebody out at the plate. So they're
saw that with Polanco in the previous series.
Yeah, they're giving the ball. You hit it over our head, good for you. But if you get a base hit, you better get a good jump off at second base because we're throwing you out. I like that philosophy. There are different philosophies of outfield coaching and outfielders themselves, but from a pitcher's point of view, I want you to be able to throw somebody out at the plate for me.
28 outfield assists, most in the National League. The 2-2 pitch. Just comparing it to the Cardinals with 17 for St. Louis, 28 for the Pirates. That's been with a compromised Marcell Ozuna in left field. Garcia hits it off the glove of Williams. Tough play here, and he is out. Michaelis into the top of the 5th, and there's no score. The Pirates and the Cardinals. And Jordy Mercer looks at a strike, and we've got a pitcher's duel going on now. The Cardinals with 2 hits, the Pirates with 4. The 2 Cardinal hits have been doubles. Molina and DeYoung. Both teams with really good opportunities early on. The Pirates had the bases loaded in the 1st, did not score. Cardinals had runners at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and did not score. Mentioned that Jerka was put on the DL. It was Adolis Garcia that was recalled, so we've seen him before. He's had a big year at Memphis and back with the Cardinals.
Didn't really get on track here at the big league level, but the tools are there. In fact, he got off to a slow start in AAA too, and then just turned it on once he got comfortable. And good to have him back. I know he gives you good outfield play, a terrific arm.
And the 1-2, a hanging breaking ball into the gap in left center. Bader gets to it, and a leadoff double for Jordy Mercer.
Well, Mercer will hit you if you hang it right in the middle of the plate. We talked about the edges of the boxes. That one is right smack dab in the middle of it and hanging, and a 1-2 pitch that Michaelis would want back.
Cardinals anticipating the bunt here with Williams, so the corners are in. Charging hard, Matt Adams from first base, and there's strike 1.
Cardinals choosing not to put the wheel play on, and the wheel play would send DeYoung to cover 3rd to make sure that you get an out there. Now you've got more inexperienced corner infielders here than what you've been doing all year with Adams and Munoz, who all these guys haven't played together as much. So maybe you're just going the safe way, trying to get an out. That'd be my guess. If it was Carpenter and Jerko, I think the wheel play might be on.
Mercer's 27th double that ties his single season high. He set back in 2014. Williams with 4 sacrifice bunts and 11 attempts this year. The 1-1, and now it's 1-2. Getting out here without advancing the runner changes the complexion of the inning.
100% true. Well, and that's again what the wheel play is designed to do, is to get that lead runner at 3rd base and don't let it happen, because the inning can really change on this bunt attempt, and the game can change on this bunt attempt. So you don't want to make it easy. You want to throw some kind of pitch, and not a really gifted hitter at the plate, probably not a gifted bunter either. When you can't hit, it's hard to bunt.
Gets it down. Adams goes to 3rd. Not in time. Back to 1st, and the out. How about that? The arm of Jairo Munoz, so that'll go 3-5-4. Don't see that every day.
No, you don't. Maybe ambitious for Matt Adams to try to get that lead runner, and Munoz recognizing that they weren't going to be successful at it, so I better come off the bag early and make that throw to first base just in time. You're right, he's got a cannon.
And the Pirates taking a long look at it. They will not challenge.
There's the strong throw, and how close is it? He's out.
So the infield is drawn in for Marte, and there's strike 1. Cardinals really try to bust him in. It's 0 for 2 tonight. Twice is grounded out to 3rd. And another grounder that's pulled foul.
And again.
Yep.
Well, by pitching in, Dan, you're hoping for, now that it's 0-2, for a swing and a miss when you go in. Maybe he'll swing over the top of a sinker and you'll get everything you want. But by pitching in, you might get him to pop the ball up in the infield too. That will happen on balls in La Cocina.
And again.
That might have been in the living room. Always the danger of hitting him.
Hitting 154 on pitches on the inside of the plate.
When you think about Michaelis's ability to expand the outer part of the plate with his slider, you at least have to be thinking about that as a pitch selection to try to get the strikeout. I think they're going away with one. And that makes the plate bigger. He's thrown one in off the plate, out off the plate. Marte feels like he's got a lot of area to cover now.
Also get him to roll over on a ground ball and don't hit a fly ball. 2-2. Breaks his bat. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Soft liner hit out to left. Run scores. 1-0 Pirates. Marte with his 59th run batted in.
So that's exactly what he wanted to do. Get it in, get weak contact, but it was just so weak. It broke his bat and ended up as a base hit. That's baseball, Dan.
And it brings in Frazier. Now you got to worry about Marte stealing a bag. The pressure that he applies the entire defense with his speed. Let's hit out of play for strike one. Frazier tonight a double into right, also struck out.
They're looking ahead, Dan. Matt Carpenter coming out of this game. Matt Adams coming in early creates a shorter Cardinal bench in a close game where pinch hitters, pinch runners, all that may become very important in about 3 or 4 innings.
If you're going to use Adams, especially if you're trailing, it probably would have been done before the 9th. Their closer is a lefty, and now he's into the ball game to take the spot of Carpenter. Left on the bench for the Cardinals, Wisdom, Garcia, and the backup catcher Pena. Here's an 0-1 pitch. Instead, a check on Marte again, who is 13 of 15 in stolen base opportunities off of Yadier Molina.
So Garcia and Wisdom go from being an important part of a pennant-winning team in AAA, and a few days later, it's, you know what, this game may rely upon your ability to produce off the bench.
Right.
Be ready.
Memphis celebrated over the weekend, headed to postseason play again with an unbelievable amount of turnover this year. They're running in a hit and run to perfection. Marte on his way to third base, and runners at the corners.
Well, this is what it's been like playing the Cardinals lately. You run, you hit to an open spot, you get an extra base, you work on manufacturing a run. This is the Cardinals game, the end of late.
In steps Polanco. They're stretching now in the Cardinal bullpen. No one up and throwing yet. I would imagine they get somebody going fairly soon. Talk about it a lot. Baseball happens, and it can happen quickly. And Polanco a base hit into right field. That makes it 2-0 Pittsburgh. Three consecutive hits and 4 in the inning off of Michaelis.
Pitch location. Up and in. Probably exactly where he was trying to throw it.
And the long walk here by Mike Maddox. Chasen Shreve is up. Gives him time to get loose. Potentially for Dickerson, you could turn around Josh Bell. You got Colin Moran from the left side, so see what direction the Cardinals want to go.
Went a little over budget? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
Some of these pitches from Michaelis have been up.
They have.
Getting late into a season, something that you see many times when guys are having a dominant year. Get into late August, early September, this is where you have to grind, isn't it? Runners at first and second.
I've counted 11 pitches for Shreve. Relievers need 12 to 15. So that little visit means he's ready.
Pitch count at 86. Michaelis is due up third, so probably his final inning of work one way or another. And there's a strike on Cervelli. .329 with runners in scoring position. Cervelli, night in and night out, he's not shy about visiting with that home plate umpire, talking about a strike zone when he's at the plate. And the 0-1. A liner that's caught by Garcia. Runners back to first and second. Out number 2. Reminder that Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Barnes Jewish Hospital and Washington University physicians, national leaders in medicine. And National Car Rental. Go national, go like a pro.
Talked earlier, Dan, about the run support that Michaelis normally gets. If the Cardinals had 6 runs on the board right now, you'd say, hey, two runs in 5 innings, that's a good start for Miles Michaelis. Just doesn't feel that way right now. And I think that's the difference between your team supporting you and not, especially for a starting pitcher.
Now Dickerson. Two outs and 2 on. 2-0 our score.
But the fact that this is pitch number 90 in the 5th inning and there's 8 hits on the board, that's the down part of the story for Miles Michaelis. If he finishes with 2 runs, I'd say, you know what, let's take that and move on and have a battle of the bullpens.
Look at his workload by inning. That first inning took a lot out of him, you would have to assume. 31 pitches. He's allowed now 20 hits in his last 9 1/3. One ball and 1 strike with 2 runners on. In on his hands, and it's 1-2. Cincinnati in the bottom of the 6th, a 1-run lead over Milwaukee. Cubs split their games today. Washington and Philadelphia tied at 6. That's in the bottom of the 7th. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
If he can get through this, Dan, I'd say if a bad or below average Miles Michaelis game is 5 innings, 2 runs, I'd take that anytime.
One and 2 the count. The next two, Corey Dickerson goes down to get it. There goes Bader. That'll carry to him. Pirates strand a couple. They pick up the lead. 2-0 midway through 5. And it's brought to you by T-Mobile.
We talked earlier, what does Trevor Williams have for a put-out pitch? Well, I think you heard us talking about it because he was putting away Cardinals with fastballs away, fastballs in, and a changeup to Munoz. He has had 6 strikeouts in this game, so he's figured out how to put Cardinals away.
Harrison Bader to start play here in the bottom of 5. And lines it out to left. 1 pitch and 1 out. 0 for 2 on the night. Brings in Munoz, and then we'll see a pinch hitter more than likely, or maybe not. Miles Michaelis is moved to the on-deck circle.
You had to think about hard hit balls in this game, Dan, for the Cardinals. I can think of 3. Molina's double, DeYoung's double, and that line out to left. Am I missing one?
Munoz struck out first time up. 6 strikeouts for Trevor Williams. 2 balls and no strikes. Seven strikeouts is a career high for Williams. 2-1. Cardinals 2 hits, a double back in the first by Molina. Double by Paul DeYoung in inning number 4, and that's been it. The 2-2. Just got a piece, and then that got Cervelli.
He is leaning on Munoz. And that's why. Left foot, right foot. And the left foot took the brunt of that. He's been pretty injury plagued the past few years, as you would suspect a lot of catchers to be. Gets hit by pitches, been hit behind the plate. And what did this sound like?
He knows what that's all about.
Sure does.
2-2 the count. And Munoz hits it back to Williams. Out number 2. Phillips 66 ticket vouchers are back, and they are better than ever. Philip at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more. You can get a voucher for up to 50% off on up to 8 tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Shorter bench, and Michaelis will hit for himself here. You can see him hit for himself and then come out of the game. Lifts a fly ball out to left, and that'll be a 1-2-3 inning. 7-pitch inning to end the 5th. 2-0 our score. Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Blues general manager Doug Armstrong here tonight. Training camp not that far away.
A lot of optimism.
Big time. He was busy this offseason chasing Shreve in our Chevy call to the pen.
Well, exactly the scenario you said, Dan, that Michaelis hit for himself because of the short bench, which we talked about. Means he hits, but a reliever comes in anyway. Shreve is our Chevy call to the bullpen. Game number 50 this year for Shreve. I think he's been valuable in the bullpen for Mike Shildt in the Cardinals. He has a split finger, which is unusual for a left-hander to throw. You think about lefties as fastball, curveball, maybe sinker, slider guys, but very few left-handers. I can't think of very many ever that will throw that split finger and get outs like this.
There's Bader racing in and makes the catch for the out. 1 pitch and 1 away. The right-handers, you hear about it all the time.
What's the guy? Was his name Suter? He was pretty
good.
He was pretty good at it.
Took that pitch to the Hall of Fame. Here's Colin Moran, who is hit into a double play and also struck out.
Love it when Bruce comes back.
See him at the Cardinals Hall of Fame and opening day, and a few more times outside of those 2 appearances.
I know he'll be back in September again. And I know he'll be at Whitey Herzog's golf tournament in September. Whitey puts one on and benefits the fields that he helps build throughout the greater St. Louis area and helps support youth baseball. And Whitey's been doing that with his foundation. And you and I, Dan, have been a part of that for a long time.
What's the theme this year?
Let's see. I think it's just Whitey himself, because
that's good enough.
He had to be talked into that. Of
Is
course,
that right?
Yeah. Wanted to focus on just Whitey's guys and covering different decades.
So sharp. Watches the game night in and night out. If he's not here, it's on television he's watching. And it's not just the Cardinals. There's a base hit to left field.
No, you ask him about the situation, he'll say, yeah, I like one thing. Here's what I like about Flaherty. He uses that sinker and he cuts the ball. And this, I mean, he knows what he's talking about. He watches differently than most fans watch. And you talk about themes of his tournament, Dan. He's had 85 reunion, 87 reunion. He's had all former relievers that were successful for him. He had the unsung heroes one year. He had the 82 World Championship team. And that event has been terrific. The golf tournament that goes along with it.
Could be 2. Munoz spinning out there onto first, and a stretch by Adams, and what a double play. Mercer, hard hit ball to third. Munoz, a nice play, the hot corner. And a quick inning for Chasen Shreve. Right-hander John Gant going for St. Louis. Last time out he made one mistake, and that was a home run that was hit by Matt Holliday coming off the bench. 7 innings, 3 hits, gave up that run, struck out 6. And Joe Musgrove will go for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And here's Matt Adams trying to get on track. So Adams takes over for Matt Carpenter. Fell ill, so Adams is in there. And there it is, a base hit back in St. Louis for Big City. That's got to be relief for him.
Oh yeah, that was a nice free and easy swing. He's been tied up a little bit, I think, and even watching him with the Nationals, and that breaks a big 0 for 27 for Matt after getting off to such a good start this year. He's got good power numbers. That's not an easy ball to hit either. Sinking down and away.
The Cardinals are requesting that baseball go back to their dugout. Jose Martinez directing everyone to give that ball back.
One of their coaches has it and says, don't worry, I'll get it to you. We don't have to do it now.
There's Yadier Molina, the tying run now at the plate. And strike one. Molina is grounded into a double play and also doubled.
It was Joey Cora who was actually in possession of the baseball at that moment and said, don't worry, I got it. He's pretending to throw it into the stands. Just giving Jose Martinez a hard time.
So do they want it because it snapped an 0 for 27, or do they want it because
it's his first hit back as a Cardinal? Or do they just want it?
That too. Here's an 0-1. A breaking pitch makes it 0-2. Richard Rodriguez throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. And an 0-2 pitch to Molina. Fouled back. Nothing in 2 the count. A lot of room to the right side of the infield for the Cardinals. And Yadier Molina. Inside, he hits the deck.
And we talked about this, Dan, 3 innings ago. Yadi behind in the count. He's susceptible to hitting into double plays. Got a runner at first base who's not really a threat to steal. What do? Catcher at the plate, behind the plate, that throws out nearly half the runners trying to steal. So even with Matt Adams, the Pirates thinking the same way. Well, I better check on him.
Jose Martinez at the on deck circle. Time called. And the Cardinals trying to get a little rally going. It's been a quiet offensive night so far. Total of 3 hits. One of those a Molina double. Here's a 1-2. It's been the other thing about this team, even falling behind, and here we are in the 6th inning. The Cardinals, the way they played, just never feel out of it.
Late runs, late power, good bullpen work, and all those 3 are hopeful signs, and we've seen it night after night, at least in the last 6 weeks we have.
That pitch in the dirt. 2-2.
I'd say the Cardinals bullpen, Dan, has turned from a liability to a weapon almost overnight.
Hudson, Hicks,
Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, Daniel Ponce de Leon. Now
Shreve.
Carlos Martinez. The 2-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. See, sometimes the way that Yadi swings, he's guessing along with the pitcher,
right,
the pitch and the location, and just lets it fly. He's had a couple of those swings in this at bat.
Well, you don't have to tell Yadi the situation. He knows it. High baseball IQ.
The 2-2. And he struck him out. That's now 7 strikeouts. This Friday, Budweiser providing 30,000 fans 21 and older the 8th Stein in the championship series, highlighting the Cardinals' 1982 World Series championship against the Brewers. Tickets for this Friday, cardinals.com/promotions. 7 strikeouts. It matches the career high for Trevor Williams. 1 out and a runner at first. Jose Martinez at the plate. 0 for 2 tonight, has grounded out to short and also struck out. Tyler O'Neill at the on-deck circle, barring a double play. We'll see him hit.
So the guys you want, Dan, who are currently available with a chance to tie it, are back-to-back here, Martinez and O'Neill.
Here's a 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. And now Cervelli out to visit. Stat for everything, but this is interesting. When Jose Martinez gets to a 2-0 count, he's hitting .462. So he's obviously looking for a pitch to drive. Sometimes a pitcher will groove it, looking for that strike one. He's ready for it.
Well, if you look at it from Williams's point of view, he's behind a guy that could tie the game. So he doesn't want to groove it to him, but he also doesn't want to walk him because the guy on deck can give the Cardinals the lead. And so that's the advantage of hitting in front of somebody that has power threat. You're more apt to get that pitch to hit. And I may have the rose-colored glasses on, but I wouldn't want to throw this pitch if I was Trevor Williams.
The 2-0. 3-0. O'Neill at the on-deck circle, and you know Martinez has the green light here.
You bet.
And he walked him. And Tyler O'Neill steps in, representing the go-ahead run last night, a high towering home run.
I think it's the hand coming off the bat, the front arm raised high, which makes me think of Mark McGwire.
And forearms that are tree trunks.
Those 3 things, yes.
First pitch to Tyler O'Neill. Popped up left side. Will it get out of play? Yes. Into the Pirates dugout.
I thought he might have hit that a little bit hard. I think Moran got doubled up a little quicker than he thought he would going over there to try to catch that ball. He's looking up and he knows the fence is there, but maybe not quite yet. That railing, I think, knocked the wind out of him. Ouch.
Cardinals 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position so far in the series. This crowd trying to make some noise. O'Neill can do something here. 0-1 pitch. A ball and a strike. Ball to Young at the on-deck circle. The 1-1.
Oh.
That's one he'd love to have back.
Oh, yeah.
Good numbers. These types of situations. Runners at first and second. And the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Been hearing a lot of grunting tonight, Dan. Pitchers and hitters alike. Must be August baseball.
The 2-2 and fouled back. The 2-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. Struck him out. And it's up to DeYoung, who is struck out and doubled. 8 Cardinal strikeouts tonight. New career high for Trevor Williams.
Williams winning a lot of battles. That one with a slider.
Paul DeYoung, limited time, 14 home runs. 2 runners on here. And DeYoung lifts it in the air out to left, and this will do it. Trevor Williams pitching again out of a jam. 2-0 as we head to the 7th. BJC Healthcare difference maker. Pittsburgh Pirates getting to Miles Michaelis, the only 2 runs in this game. That wound up being an out. Broken bat with the infield drawn in. Marte the single to drive in Jordy Mercer. Hit and run. Something the Cardinals have been doing a bunch of. And then Polanco with that base hit into right. And it adds up to a 2-0 lead. Dominic Leone in.
Kind of a sloppy inning, a funky inning, and not a lot of balls hit hard, but the hit and run hit, the jam shot just did not go Michaelis's way that particular inning. He battled, and giving up just 2 runs in 5 innings, still giving his team a chance. Dominic Leone will have the 7th inning after Chasen Shreve pitched a scoreless 6th.
First pitch to Harrison. So Josh Harrison pinch hitting for Trevor Williams. By the way, we were thinking about having Uncle Charlie up here, Adam Wainwright, and that'll happen tomorrow Adam Wainwright will join us in the booth. Harrison to Paul DeJong. He bobbles, and Harrison is out.
A little nonchalant by Paul DeJong, and I think he just thought this would be a little easier. Unfortunately, after it hits glove, chest, elbow, wrist, catches it in his hand. That was odd. Think Adam's nervous about being up in the booth?
Well, I'm sure he's frightened by it. He hasn't been interviewed enough. But that'll be fun.
It will be. Class act.
You know, the other part of that play with DeJong is that Harrison at the tail end, I mean, he was running hard, and then he was out with a fractured hand, and I don't know of any other reason as to why he's missing time, meaning a leg injury. 2 balls and 1 strike. Remember when the Cardinals signed Dominic Leone, they thought this might be a closer. So another weapon coming out of the pen.
Had a big year last year with Toronto. He's had 2 different years where he was just lights out in the big leagues, and injuries in between, and certainly injury this year, but been a durable late inning guy. We just haven't seen it this year. Haven't had a chance to.
2-2 hit softly to short. DeJong bare hands, and Adams couldn't come up with it, and it's in the Cardinal dugout.
Because it's Marte, DeJong feels he has to do that. The throw a little bit low. Matt Adams not able to come up with it. Not a bad throw. And on that short hop, that's a play Matt should have been able to handle.
And the 10th error this season on DeJong, so
I wonder what kind of grip he had on the baseball after barehanding it and then letting it go in one quick motion.
This Saturday, 30,000 fans 16 and older can look and feel like a pro. Home white embroidered jersey courtesy of TD Ameritrade. Cardinals.com/promotions.
And if you're Dominic Leone, don't forget to check on Marte behind you.
Adam Frazier at the plate. And there's ball 1. Brett Cecil throwing in the Cardinals pen. Big gap in right center. We're in the top of the 7th, 2-0 our score. The 1-1 pitch to Frazier. Two and two.
Leone's doing a nice job of checking, double checking, triple checking on Marte, who likes to dance off of second base. And we've seen him do it. We've seen him steal third. He loves to run, as I mentioned. And if Leone forgets about him, he'll go.
The 2-2 pitch. And he stays alive. Cardinals looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th. We'll have Garcia, Bader, and Munoz.
Followed by the pitcher's spot, which could be, if there's a runner on base or two, either Adolis Garcia or Patrick Wisdom. I would guess Wisdom first.
Big innings coming up. The closer of the Pirates, his last 32 appearances, 1.10 ERA, 17 of 17 in save opportunities. So 6 outs before him, and you get the idea. Important.
Felipe Vasquez appears to be better than Felipe Rivero was.
They both are pretty good.
They were.
The 2-2. The fly ball into shallow right center. Bader with the catch. Runner stays put, 2 away.
Leone staying out of the middle of the plate. This time jams Frazier. And the Cardinal outfield so happy, Dan, to be able to see the baseball again after the road trip. How many times did that happen on the road trip where you saw infielders pointing, there it is in the early twilight in both Colorado and Los Angeles?
Bader had issues. Jose Martinez, O'Neill at one point.
Yes. I talked to Willie McGee about that. He said, well, you know, we can. They took balls off the bat all during batting practice, but it wasn't dark yet. It wasn't twilight yet.
That's hit down the right field line by Polanco, and a souvenir.
Willie's getting more and more active, isn't he? I mean, you just see him blossoming. Again, I'm not saying he's been coaching a long time. He knows what he's doing, but he is becoming much more aggressive in terms of getting done what he wants to get done on the outfield side.
Great shot of Bader racing in Colorado on a liner, made the catch and then pointed right at Willie McGee to say, hey, you're right. Positioning put me in the right spot. Then the bench gave Willie a standing O. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Polanco. Hits it the other way. O'Neill backing up near the track and makes the catch. Scoreless inning for Dominic Leone. Time to stretch. to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, further so you can. Cardinals have Greg Garcia, Harrison Bader, Jairo Munoz. Only 3 hits tonight, and they trail 2-0 here at Busch Stadium. Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. And a new pitcher in for the Pirates. Right-hander Edgar Santana. Third baseman Colin Moran, even with the bag. Wide gap in right center. First pitch to Greg Garcia, ball.
We've seen both Santana and Rodriguez, who was up earlier, and both these guys having good seasons. Good ERAs, under 3. They've been solid for the most part.
Thinking about Lou Brock tonight. This date 1977. Stolen base number 893 at the age of 38. And he broke Ty Cobb's record.
Every night's a good night to think about Lou Brock. And of course, Jackie.
Rode back with Jackie and Lou from the Cardinals Hall of Fame ceremonies here to the ballpark, and always upbeat, happy, smiling, excited to be here. 2-1 the count on Greg Garcia. 0 for 2 tonight, and he lifts it in the air out to right field. First man retired. The catch made by Polanco. Harrison Bader. Willie McGee was traded this date 1990 to the A's. And of course Willie would come back and finish up his career here in St. Louis. He was hitting .335, and that led the National League in hitting. Turned out to be a batting championship.
His second MVP. I'd say pretty stellar career, but his contribution goes beyond any number we can come up with in terms of stolen bases, or his persona, I think, is what we all fell in love with. His persona as a player: humble, hardworking, dedicated, loyal, team player, good defender, fast, could hit, all those things in a pile, but I think the character things are what made their way to the top.
1-1 hit to Moran, and that'll be an error. Bader will beat it out, and the Cardinals have a life. That's what speed will do to you. I'm sure Moran thinking, playing in with Bader, I've got to be quick.
Well, it also makes me think of what you said earlier about a ball that Harrison hit. It's also why you run the ball out. Bader's flying out of the box, so the little boot means he's safe. Now you got to make that hurt.
And Munoz, the tying run at the plate. 6 home runs this season. He had a dramatic come from behind win for the Cardinals against the Pirates. It was Munoz with a walk-off earlier this year. Patrick Wisdom at the on-deck circle, as you had talked about. Cardinals get a man on, chance to tie it. Wisdom would come up. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Munoz. And it's 2 balls and no strikes, and Cervelli out to visit. That error, and now falling behind 2-0, right, changes the feel of the inning.
And a different pitcher all of a sudden. Those 2 pitches not even close. It is funny what happens, Dan, when the pressure gets ratcheted up, and sometimes as simply as when you go to the stretch. Of course, most relievers will be in the stretch all the time anyway, but when you're worried about the runner, you're sometimes going to be quicker to the plate. So even relievers that are working out of the stretch all the time, it's different if you feel like you've got somebody with a clock who's going to mention something about your speed to the plate. I think that does more to mess up pitchers than it does to help them. Sometimes, at least.
Cecil and Martinez getting loose. And a 2-0 pitch coming up here to Munoz. 2-1, very close. Looked like it may have caught the corner. Crowd tonight 33,448. 33448. The 2-1, 3-1. Almost as if he's trying to overthrow.
Well, and I think what we're saying about Santana is definitely a possibility because he does pick his leg up high. That's his normal deal. And you're picking your leg up high with Bader at first base. And I know the Cardinals are noticing that. So his time to the plate, I would say, is slow compared to most pitchers. He's not doing the slide step. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bader doesn't try to take off here.
And the 3-1 not running, and Munoz hit by the pitch. May have gotten him on the tricep area or the elbow, and oh boy, Cardinals right now beat up.
Be looking for what part of the elbow, and yeah, I think you kind of called it right. Maybe in his tricep area. Look, it doesn't matter what it hit, it hurt.
They're in the top of the 8th. Milwaukee leading now Cincinnati 11-10. Christian Yelich is hit for the cycle. Ray Searage out to visit. And Patrick Wisdom will be the batter. Rodriguez back up and throwing for the Pirates in their bullpen. 2-0 our score. Runners at first and second. And one out here in the home half of the 7th. Francisco Cervelli interpreting for the young man. Inning started with a fly out by Garcia. Bader reached on an error. Munoz hit by a pitch, and now Patrick Wisdom.
Another golden opportunity for the Cardinals to change the game.
The outfield is deep. Good speed on the bases. The first pitch to Patrick Wisdom. Pulled foul, and he was ready for that fastball. And the 0-1 pitch now. 0-2. Matt Adams, the on-deck circle. Remember, they used Brault last night. Vasquez, their closer, and those are the two lefties that they have in their pen. So
Brault's really become a long man for them too.
Exactly.
And former starter. So Adams will see a right-hander.
Here's a 0-2. Seen a lot of call-ups and debuts this year, and I'm not sure teammates have been any happier than that of the call-up of Patrick Wisdom.
Kind of got to the point where you worried it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the next to Wisdom. 2-2. The 2-2. Full count. Almost 3,000 plate appearances in the minor leagues for Patrick Wisdom. And now thrust right into a pennant race. It could be a difference maker with this swing coming up, if indeed he gets a pitch to hit. Three-two. Got him. Matt Adams.
I don't think that was necessarily a great pitch by Santana either. It just hung up in the zone, and fortunately Wisdom couldn't connect. But he's not done working here.
Cardinals 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. Adams, a power threat, filling in for Carpenter. He singled back in the 6th inning. And takes ball 1. Here's a 1-0. Popped up. And the threat is through. Catch made by Moran. It's 2-0. We head to the 8th here at Busch Stadium. 3. Brett Cecil, our Chevy called to the pen.
Really just one bad game since he's been back, Dan. He's actually done a nice job, and he's talked very publicly about trying to be more positive in how he approaches his appearances, getting all the negative thoughts out of his head. And I'd say as a reliever, that's a pretty appropriate aim, because being a reliever, negative things happen. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Brett Cecil. A lot of curveballs. I'm surprised it's only 37%. That's a pitch he likes to throw. Fastball, cutter, and changeup as well.
I would say since he's come back off the DL, that number would be way lower than what he's been doing.
I would agree.
Yeah. Here's Cervelli. Both teams have stranded 7 in the ball game. He is walked, struck out, and also flied out. 2 balls and no strikes. StatCast AI powered by AWS, the spray chart for Cervelli. And the 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Up the middle, DeYoung sliding, gets up, throws a strike and one to play. Outstanding Paul DeYoung to his left.
Outstanding play by the Cardinals shortstop. And remember what happened to Cervelli just an inning or so ago. He fouled the ball off his foot. He wasn't running quite the way we've seen him run before, but that takes nothing away from that play. Almost a little hobbled trip down the first base line for Cervelli. He's not even back to the dugout yet. We've already shown the replay. We're ready to go. Let's go, Sir Francisco. Vamonos. He's still not back.
Nope. And now he is. So 1 out and Corey Dickerson at the plate. And strike 1.
Feel a little bad for rushing him because he did foul the ball off his foot, and I have some empathy for that.
It's been catching. It's a long night.
It's okay.
Dickerson, one of those guys that you see get a lot of line drives. Nearly 29% line drive percentage. That leads the Pirates. And it's 12th in Major League Baseball.
And a contact guy.
Yep.
He's influenced his entire team. Clint Hurdle told me last time we connected on him, he told me that in Pittsburgh, that he said they saw him do it and they thought, you know what, he's just trying to put the ball in play, yet he's still getting power numbers. Maybe that does work. It's not either or. It's both and. You can still have a good shorter stroke with 2 strikes, but still get some power numbers and some RBIs.
And the 0-2 pitch. Diving stop, Munoz. And Adams can't come up with it. It's off his glove. And advancing out of the play, Dickerson to second base. That ball was behind Munoz, it looked like.
It was past him. Gets the glove on it, comes up, the throw is wide. I think Matt Adams did everything he could do to try to come up with that one. That was not an easy play for Matt Adams. And remember, Munoz was just beat up just an inning ago on a pitch up and in. That was on his non-throwing elbow, though.
There's Bell and a strike, switch hitter. He is singled, grounded out, and also fly to center. Here's an 0-1 pitch. Brent Cecil to Josh Bell with a runner at second. Luke Weaver now up in the pen, and that is lifted down the right field line. Martinez over and out of play. And Jose will have a conversation if someone would like to talk to him.
Pretty chatty, isn't he?
Big time.
Well, this is supposed to be a fun game, baseball, you know. Social, interactive, fan friendly.
Swing and a miss. And Molina will tag out Bell. BP, brighter picture, lowest average age of the pitching staff in the National League. The Pirates and the Cardinals, Philly, Cincinnati, Miami. Future very bright.
So is that graphic.
It'll get your attention. So 2 outs and a runner at second base and Colin Moran. I would think one way or another this would be the final batter that Cecil would face. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Moran is struck out, grounded into a double play, and also a single to left field back in the 6th. The check swing just to protect himself.
Further comment on our last graphic. I can think of Whitey Herzog saying this, and it's something old baseball guys used to say, and I heard it 1,000 times in the minor leagues. You know, when people would say, well, our team's young. Well, it really doesn't matter if they're young if they're not very good. And I think that's the value of what the Cardinals have going on right now, is not only is their starting staff and their relief corps young, but they're leading this team right now. They've been terrific.
Gomber, Flaherty, Ponce de Leon,
Hudson. John Gant's 25. He's not been around that long.
Flaherty 22.
Alex Reyes.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Moran in the dirt, and it's 2-2. Austin Gomber has been put in the rotation. We'll see him throw Friday night against Homer Bailey. Flaherty scheduled to go in that series, and potentially Daniel Ponce de Leon. The 2-2 fouled back. And a swing and a miss. Good work by Cecil. A scoreless inning. Home half of the 8th rolls in when we come back. And the lefty Vasquez is their closer, but they went out at the trade deadline and picked up this right-hander, Keone Kela. Chevy called to the pen, and he's a good one.
Well, he's off to a good start with Pittsburgh. He's been their 8th inning guy at 24 saves with Texas when they got him. So it was a matter at the time. And you think about when they got him, that's when the Pirates were playing their best. And they wanted to shore up the one area that they thought they needed help with. And that was another big arm in their bullpen. And that's why they got him. And so, you know, they kind of went south offensively after that, had some key injuries, but they still have Kela in that 8th inning.
First pitch popped up by Molina. And Bell with the catch. One pitch and one away. Jose Martinez 0 for 2 with a walk. Very quiet night for the Cardinals offensively, being shut out in only 3 hits.
It can change fast. I'm ready for it, Dan. Anytime now.
Fans are as well, as Martinez takes a ball up and in. Struck out in the first, grounded to short in the 4th, walked in inning number 6. One ball and 1 strike. Big gap in left center, outfield deep.
July 11th, Dan, in Chicago against the White Sox, last time the Cardinals were shut out.
And the 1-1. 1-2.
Another grunter on the mound. Think Ray Searage is teaching that?
I know he's teaching pitch inside.
Yeah. You know, the loudest grunter I recall from my era was a guy named Nolan Ryan.
He backed it up pretty well.
Oh, he would grunt. Yeah, and he'd also grunt on his curveball.
Think of Zach Greinke, Roger Clemens. First hit of the game for the Cardinals, Matt Carpenter reached third base. Nobody has gotten there since.
Kela tried to quick pitch Martinez there. I don't think either one of them were very happy about that. Kela wanted him to be ready. Let's go. And Martinez was like, wait a minute, I had my hand up. So I think they were both a little agitated.
Cardinals have Carlos Martinez in their pen throwing, and he's loose. Another right-hander has joined him just in case. And the 2-2. Oh, fan went for that souvenir with his hat. Didn't get the ball. Lost the hat. Been a tough night for the Cardinal fans. And time again called by Jose Martinez.
Yeah, they're having a little cat and mouse game right here. Jose wants to get ready, and Kela, this makes me think of Roboski here. See, he's wanting to do that, and Kela's getting ready to pitch.
Touchdown. 2-2. Cardinals need a base runner. O'Neill at the on deck circle. And the 3-2. And a base hit into center field.
You saw that coming, didn't you, Danny?
Boy, when he gets focused, takes that ball right back up the middle. Now the tying run at the plate.
Kella flails at this with his arm. That's not a good idea.
No. I didn't see that initially.
Oh, I saw it. Think, what in the world? Not like you're catching butterflies there. I mean, you got to be. That'd have been some play if he'd have barehanded that line drive. I think there was a little tension there between those two.
Big time.
We never have that, you and I.
Never. Be happy to offer counseling to both.
Now, if I was pitching to you, trust me, we'd have it. Get off the plate, or I'll get you off.
I'd welcome it. Not exactly Nolan Ryan here, Ricky.
No.
Ooh, 1 ball and 1 strike. But there's ways to get guys off the plate. You don't have to throw very hard.
Of course. And there are ways to tie up a game too in the bottom of the 8th inning. If you've got the strength of Tyler O'Neill. Ooh.
By the way, Albert Pujols to miss the remainder of the season. Knee surgery, so his year is through, and hopefully he'll be healthy coming through St. Louis next year.
Looking forward to that.
Yep. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And O'Neill fouled it back. 97. And he struck him out.
A high strike, but a strike. Slider at the top of the zone. Cardinals just can't get that big hit, at least not yet. The game changer.
And a strike on Paul DeYoung. Two strikes.
What they have done, Dan, because the bullpen, Shreve, Leone, Cecil has put up zeros. They've continued to allow the Cardinals to have moments where they can tie it with 1 swing of the bat. Again, a difference from first half of the season when the bullpen would turn a 2-0 game into a 10-0 game at times. Or say 5-0 game. To where it's out of reach. It doesn't feel like you can do it. But now you still feel like 1 swing from Paul DeYoung, and here we go.
And DeYoung hits it out of play.
Thought about this in a long time, Dan, but I actually learned something. Nolan Ryan used to grunt when he'd throw a changeup, and I learned from him to do that because players would hear that and they'd think fastball.
0-2 pitch. Just like that, an off-speed pitch.
Exactly. Talk about tipping pitches.
Yeah.
11-11, top of the 9th inning. Milwaukee and Cincinnati.
Wow, so the Reds come back with a run.
They did that.
And the 1-2. Hit in the air to right. Polanco backing up to make the catch. 2-0 as we head to the ninth. Nothing, top of the ninth. And St. Louis going here with Carlos Martinez. Chevy called to the pen. Pitched in Colorado, did a real nice job. You think about if you have a lead, trying to shorten games, and the bullpen has kept them in this game. Dominic Leone, Brett Cecil, now Martinez. Nissan drive of the game back in the fifth, and a hanging breaking ball against Miles Michaelis in a leadoff double.
It really set the tone for that entire inning, which was kind of a funky inning for Michaelis, resulted in the game's 2 runs.
And the first pitch is strike. We were talking with Mike Schilt the other day in his office about Carlos and could he pitch in back-to-back games, and he said absolutely.
Yeah.
No restrictions. Good slider, 0-2.
I don't know if this is a stretch, Dan, but those last 2 pitches and what we saw of Carlos last time out, I think sharper coming out of the bullpen than we saw him as a starter this year.
And a liner that's caught by Paul DeYoung.
He's been busy.
Sure has. Nice play.
Thought this was a hit off the bat, and there's Paulie stretching out and making the play. Another base hit for Christian Yelich in the top of the 9th inning.
Wow, 6 hits. The slider, strike,
and that's what
2.
And that's what's been sharper.
Big time. Going with it again, and it's outside 1-2 on Kevin Newman. And the 1-2 pitch, 2-2. The Cardinals have Garcia, Bader, and Munoz looking at to the bottom of the 9th.
And with Martinez doing what he's doing, Leone looking sharp, that just makes the Cardinals bullpen deeper. They've already had some terrific things going on out of the Cardinals bullpen this season. Work of Jordan Hicks has been extraordinary, and now it's just more weapons for Mike Maddox.
And a 3-2. Ground ball. DeYoung circles it. Tough hop. Makes the play. Phillips 66. What's in the tank? MLB rookie hold leaders. This is in the month of August. Hudson and Hicks at the top of that list. 7 holds by a Cardinals rookie in August, tied for the most in franchise history, dating back all the way to 1957. So 2 outs and nobody on. And Starling Marte. Ball 1. In the air, left center, Bader with the room, makes the catch. Scoreless inning for Carlos Martinez. In baseball, but for whatever reason, the Cardinals, well, they've gotten to him.
Well, it may have been times where he wasn't pitching well. The Cardinals caught him at a good time, but the reality is in 4 games, he's only gone 2 1/3 innings, and the Cardinals are hitting .385 against him, and that's normally unheard of against a closer with an ERA over 15 against the Cardinals, but overall 2.62 ERA. And a bunch of strikeouts, 72 in 55 innings.
The Pirates second in the National League, 13 shutouts this year, trying to make it 14. And it'll be Greg Garcia to start things off here in the bottom of the 9th. The Cardinals, the rally caps are out, 2-0 our score.
Get the tying run at the plate and let's see what happens.
Third baseman Colin Moran, even with the bag and in. Big gap in right center. Trying to bunt his way on, and there's out number 1. Put it in the air to Bell. 100 on the gun from the lefty. 1 pitch and 1 out. Brings in Harrison Bader. Gave up that walk-off home run to Jairo Munoz back on May 31st. Since then, 17 of 17 save opportunities, 1.10 ERA. Can Bader get on and cause some havoc? And the first pitch is strike. Catches the bottom of the zone.
I was a little bit surprised that the Nationals gave up on this guy with the big arm that he had. Nationals have been searching for 8th and 9th inning guys since then. But he's certainly done a good job with Pittsburgh. 100 miles an hour left-handed. What's wrong with that?
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Bader taps it foul, and it's 0-2. They're tied 11-11. Brewers and Reds. Yelich is hit for the cycle and has 6 hits in the night. Phillies come back to defeat Washington 8-6. And the 0-2, real quick pitch that time. Bader was still kind of swinging his bat around when Vasquez delivered that pitch.
He's done that a few times. You know, hitters have their routines, and that's part of his routine, is to swing that bat a certain amount of time until he's ready, and pitcher doesn't really care about your routine.
And the 0-2. 101 on the gun, a lefty. That'll play.
In this league, it does.
And Bader hits it out to deep right center. It's at the wall and caught. So 2 away, and it brings in Munoz, the final hope for St. Louis. And once again, we started our telecast talking about just how well Trevor Williams has been pitching coming into this start. Pitched well tonight, our Budweiser player of the game.
He's been a difference maker, no question. The Cardinals have pitched well in this game, but the Pirates have been better, especially Trevor Williams.
And so Munoz with nobody on and 2 outs. Adolis Garcia at the on-deck circle. And that's driven in the gap in right center. And that ball will get down off the base of the wall. And again, the tying run will come to the plate. And another shot. That's all you want. One more chance. Adolis Garcia. Cardinals down to 1 player left on their bench, Francisco Pena. And Munoz again gets to Vasquez.
Bader almost got to him.
The quick bat of Adolis Garcia. We have seen that. Matt Adams at the on-deck circle.
Thinking of Bader's ball, Dan, and others the Pirates have hit, especially Marte. Ball doesn't seem to be carrying much tonight.
Agreed. Garcia with 22 home runs in Memphis.
Thought Bader's might have made it to the wall.
One swing of the bat, the game is tied. And the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes.
Like Vasquez, he either lost a contact lens or got something in his eye. He couldn't even take the throw back from the catcher. Seems a little bothered by it.
Well, the training staff wants to come out. Now Clint Hurdle and the medical team of the Pirates stepping back in the dugout. So here we go, 2-0. Does he get a fastball to drive?
I would think so.
Those that have stayed trying to make some noise. A 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Now, do you give a young man like Garcia, who could tie it up with 22 home runs in the minor leagues, do you say 3-0, let's take a chance, go for it?
Lefty against a righty, I would, even though he's young. Trust him with it.
3-0 pitch and a strike. Hit out of play.
You know, there's some guys that don't like to hit 3-0. They'd rather take it, even if they're given the green light, and they want to watch that ball, assuming that they're going to get the exact same pitch on the next pitch, which he did. He was ready for that one just a little bit late, and Cervelli's out talking to him. I think he saw some potential there for Garcia to square that up.
Cardinals down to their final strike. The 3-2 pitch to Adolis Garcia. Puts it in play towards short. Garcia getting down the line, and they just got him by a step, and the game comes to a close. 2-0 the final. Vasquez the save. Williams picks up the victory, and a 2-0 win for the Pirates. And the rubber game will be tomorrow night. 2-0 the final. Missouri Lottery Cardinals post-game show comes your way next.